Hello, this is Clark, and this is the first video after the introduction of the series I'm going to make about the game Crowds in 2020, which I played on vdiplomacy.com, a game of diplomacy of the variant Classic Crowded, and I was assigned England. So this image pretty much summarizes how I felt. England is a good power on this map, but it has a lot of neighbors. I have to worry about Norway, Germany, Netherlands, France, and Spain, because they're all encroaching on me, even though me, as England, being a corner power, I have some degree of defensive measures which I can resort to in case of an attack of from multiple fronts. So basically, I would specify that this particular game, is a rulebook press game. So it means that there are no communication between players in the retreat and in the build phases. So we can only communicate during the spring and fall or autumn of every year. So basically this is what Bird looks like in spring 1901. And in spring 1901, every power is very encouraged to contact and message every other power on the board. But the problem is I was very busy in the period of the start of this game, because the game started about a week after I created it, and in that week a lot of stuff had happened in my life, so I was very busy and I wasn't able to message everyone, which is a pretty stupid and dumb move, but I just couldn't. So I mostly talked to my neighbors. So I didn't message Italy, Austria, Balkans, and Turkey in spring 1901. I focused on the north side of the board, even though Italy, being so close to France and Spain, could have helped me if I needed to ask, but I just didn't. So basically what happened? First of all, I don't know if this was a bad strategic decision on my part, but I thought that the two most likely centers England gains in a classic game, because I never played on this variant before, I just wanted to try it, are normally Norway, which is pretty ensured unless Russia opens north, and Belgium, which is all but ensured, because France, Germany, and England usually contend over this center. So, and my plan at this point, as I said in the introduction video, was to take only the north of the map, never intending really to on taking Tunis, Warsaw, or Moscow to take the win, unless I really needed to, or the occasion presented itself. And it may have been an occasion in the future, we'll see. So basically, because of this additional center, I have an easier plan of victory if I can get around to defeating every single enemy in the north, which is not easy, being them so many. So basically, my strategic idea for some reason was being unable to ensure any center in 1901. I wanted to take the English Channel, because normally England can choose to go against France taking the English Channel, or to go more of a neutral / anti-Russian approach, taking North Sea and Norwegian Sea. But in this case, I thought that since Norway can contend with me over North Sea and can stop me from taking it, English Channel is probably my best bet. That meant being hostile to France, but I couldn't really see any way to attack France at the same time effectively, because France couldn't take Portugal and Spain like France normally does. But it also meant that France was more incentivized in taking the channel. So basically a big mess, and I really wanted to ally with Lowlands in the beginning, and with I wanted to have some agreement with Norway, because Norway is definitely the rival that scares me most. I have no intention of having a long-standing alliance with a power that has two centers, two supplies, home supply centers that can supply this power with navies, with fleets that can immediately go into North Sea and Norwegian Sea. Too risky for me, in my opinion. If I have to survive this game, Norway must die. But I can't say them this, so basically I need to cuddle up to them and be friendly, but I see this as a very short-term ally if I can manage to do so, and some other power in this area as my real ally for the long term. And in my opinion, Spain, I don't know why. This decision was kind of a gut decision, gut feelings. Spain was the most likely ally because Spain, in my opinion, can really only attack France first. I mean, it could attack Italy or me, but France is the most useful center of expansion for Spain. So, and I knew that in this map Spain is the weakest power by far. So basically, I wanted to ally with Spain against France, and I wanted some sort of non-aggression pact with Norway, while conspiring with Russia to take Norway down. And I wanted some deal with possibly Lowland or Germany. Basically, I messaged all these powers, and these were the responses I got. The first one to respond was actually France, which I was not that inclined to cooperate with, and he just said we should really demilitarize the English Channel, which I said yes, of course, you should always say yes to a request like this. And I said, do you have other plans? And he started to put out an hypothesis of a plan, some kind of agreements with me. So basically, he wanted to go against Lowlands because he said that Lowlands, with these two centers, would be a strong contender for the North Sea, and I should really try to take the North Sea, and we should focus on this central additional power. And this really swayed me, also because his fast response, his way of reasoning really hit me, because you have to click with someone in the start of a game. So I started to change my ideas, and I kind of said, okay, maybe France can work as an ally. So yeah, I said yes. I said I would go against Lowlands, trying to take the North Sea. And I asked if we did want to really demilitarize the English Channel, if I could maybe possibly go to English Channel, not in an hostile way to the French, but to ensure Belgium in the autumn. And he basically said no, I should support myself with the North Sea, and I said fair. So he doesn't want to go for any kind of unusual approach, being this an unusual map, and I said okay. Norway responded to me pretty fast, pretty quick, and he said, I really didn't ask him very much, I just asked for cooperation, and he said, okay, I'm willing to give you North Sea if we demilitarize Norwegian Sea. And I said, yeah, sure, let's do that. I didn't even ask him. I knew North Sea would be a contention point, that he really wasn't. So I should specify I have no real experience on this map, so probably I'm saying only wrong things, and this is a normal English starting point in this map. I don't really know. The Norwegian player, after the end of the game, I discovered there was a pretty good player, pretty high rated, so I don't know. But I agreed on a DMZ of Norwegian Sea and on taking North Sea, which I'm completely gonna honor this pact, at least in 1901. I got a response from Russia, and Russia basically said he was worried because he's a big empire surrounded by enemies, and he was pretty worried for his survival. and he said he was willing to cooperate with me against Norway. Again, I didn't really ask Russia about Norway. He just agreed that he would help me in an attack, and I can see why. So I said, yeah, great. Do you have any specific plans on that? Just to see if he wanted to go for Norway right away. And he said, I just want to keep him out of Finland and Barents Sea. And I said, okay. So basically, I had an impression that the Russian player was gonna pretty much try to be as defensive as possible and try to survive the early game, and we'll see how that goes. I got no response at all from Lowland and Germany, but Lowland wrote some kind of good luck message in the global chat, so that's worrying. And I got a message from Spain, which said, yeah, I want to cooperate with you. Do you want to go against France? And I said really bluntly, because I still had that idea in mind, yes, but only if you go against France too. And to this message, he never really responded. So I went with the original plan of cooperating with France against Lowlands, and I was hoping Spain was going to go against France and not against me or against Italy. So basically, the impression from my first season was this. Russia was willing to cooperate, but was mostly interested in his own safety. He was not going to attack Norway, but he was going to participate in a war on Norway if that brought advantage to him. So possible future ally, but I don't know. About Norway, this exclamation point means that he is an ally, or at least we have some agreement, but I really don't want to be allied with him. I want this nation to be dead. This scares me very much. He has two fleets, so I don't have the advantage of having two fleets rather than one like France. So basically, I need this power gone, and I will do everything I can to make him dead before he can do the same to me, even though we're on good terms for now. Lowland and Germany cannot be trusted because they didn't respond to me, and Spain is a big question mark because he first responded to me and then he didn't, and France is my best bet for an ally for now. I should say a little bit of a reflection on these radio silences and non-responding players. I basically think that there are three reasons why a player may not respond to a message. One is that they're playing gambit, basically. So there are some players in low-level games that decide they don't want to bother with messaging anyone. They usually get killed pretty fast, get eliminated, because no one can trust them, no one can cooperate with them. Basically no one needs them alive. So it's pretty frustrating, because it narrows your flexibility in negotiations, because if you see, other than Norway, I could have really only worked with France in this first season because these powers are not responding. So playing gambit in a press game is a terrible idea. It's frustrating for your rivals in the same game, and it's pretty bad for you because you're going to get eliminated. A second possibility is that that player is not connecting to the site and it's not gonna submit moves, and that's pretty bad. So basically, I have a pretty big suspicion that Germany is not gonna submit moves. Lowland is probably gonna, because he has published a message on global chat. So why isn't Lowland answering me, even though he is writing in global chat? Probably because he's only talking to some players, but not all of the players, and is not responding to the English messages, for example. This is, I hear, some kind of strategy when you're playing face to face, because, for example, in a classic game, if you're Germany and you turn to France and you negotiate some sort of alliance with France, and then you don't talk along to England, you refuse to talk to England, France has the absolute certainty that you're not gonna ally England because you had no chance to cooperate with him. He's very, very trusting of you in that case. But in this specific case, in online games, this makes no sense at all, and it's pretty bad. I think it's pretty bad attitude and pretty bad for yourself, because Roland now, even if he's talking only to some players, this is not gonna benefit him in the long term. So basically, this is my analysis on why some players don't respond, and let's see how the moves went. So basically, I did exactly what I said I would do. I moved to Yorkshire to give me some flexibility, and also because a move to Edinburgh was only Austrian ring to Norway, so I didn't want to do that. North Sea taken, Norway kept his word, and Norwegian Sea is DMZ'd, as is English Channel. We can see Austrian moves on lowland by France and by me, while the Norwegian player just surrounds German territories, and the lowlands player pretty much does a circle with his units. Spain and Germany both no moves received, so not only Germany but also Spain, which is unfortunate because a game is more enjoyable when some old players play. This is gonna be fixed very soon, but for now we have to deal with this situation, and I'm sorry for this. Italy makes this particular set of moves, which is, I guess, anti-French because it goes to Piedmont, but not much to say there. Italy will, during this game, be pretty extravagant with these moves, but I guess you have to improvise in this particular geographical situation. And it seems that Turkey is going after Russia in some weird way. Russia is going full on Turkey, and it seems to be a Balkan-Russian alliance. And Balkan is going against Austria, while Austria is attacking Balkan. Pretty straightforward turn, except for the Italian, which has some options. It could ally with Balkan or with Austria, but let's see. So basically, in fall of 1901, I received a message from Turkey. Turkey basically said, let's cooperate, let's keep in touch, because in the future we can become really close. And I said, yeah, sure. Even though I hadn't messaged him, I really enjoy when players do this, and I thought, yeah, Turkey is a good player, is reaching out to the furthest of the other players. It's gonna be a tough opponent, because this seems to be a good player. But then he basically disappeared. He just gave up on messaging me, and actually when we should have coordinated and I needed something from him, or I wanted to do something for him and I tried to message him, he never actually responded. So basically his attitude went out of the window after 1901, towards me at least. I don't know why. He probably got bored of the game, and that's pretty sad. So this is Turkey. Other than that, I basically kept in touch with France mostly, and we arranged that I should take Belgium. He wanted support in the beginning, and I said, no, you give support to me and I will take Belgium and Holland, you will take Ruhr and Munich. This is the split of this land we will do. He said, okay. So the plan was to convoy Yorkshire to Belgium with support. Meanwhile, I didn't really have nothing to say with the other players, with Spain and Germany going basically out of the game without playing, which was concerning because Norway was gonna get strong. And let's see how another thing we discussed, me and France, was the English channel. Again, I asked if I could take English channel maybe to go after Spain or something else, and he said he really didn't want me to take English channel. No, I actually didn't ask to take the English channel. I asked what I should do with the London fleet, and he said support on North Sea. And I said okay, and he said I really don't want you to take the English channel, to which I replied sure, that's why I asked, don't worry. And then he proposed to move London to Wales, and then Wales to Irish Sea, and then Irish Sea to Mao, to take on Spain, which wasn't really playing. And that seemed like a long way to go for London. If he really trusted me, he could have just let me do English Channel Mao, MAO, Mid-Atlantic Ocean. But I guess he really didn't trust me that much. But real solid play from an ally perspective from France this year. It shows the skills of a good ally, and I was happy with just support holding North Sea, not going in Wales, not going for Spain for now. So basically, let's see how it went. Yeah, so I took Belgium with the help of France, and we can see that actually Roland was communicating with someone. He was communicating with Norway, and Norway supported him in Kien. So it's not a player who just plays gambit, it's a player who doesn't want to speak to me, which is unfortunate for both of us. Germany and Spain, again, no moves received. They will be replaced this turn by other players, but they missed 1901. But Spain wasn't really touched by this. Yeah, he didn't gain anything, but at least he didn't lose anything. And Italy is not really doing much. It's supporting Austria, so he's showing some friendliness there. And Russia stabs the Balkan player and takes Romania. So basically, Russia gains. That's very good for him because he probably was in the most danger in 1901, while Russia tries to help Turkey into Balkan, but Balkan defends himself. And Austria and Balkan are still fighting. So Balkan, which is usually the most powerful power on this particular map, loses a center and is attacked on all sides with no friends. Italy is supporting Austria, so it's not a viable ally probably, and Spain is just not playing. So tough luck for Balkan. And the only one to gain this year are me, thanks to my French ally, Russia, thanks to his attack on Balkan, and Roland takes a German center but loses one of his home centers, and yeah, Balkan loses, Russia gains. So basically this first year was pretty straightforward, and I decided to bring a Edinburgh fleet because my plan was to cripple Norway right away. I had to betray him, so basically, yeah, I wanted to break our agreement in 1902 because I was really worried and he was out of position to defend himself. If I could trick him into believing that I was gonna attack Holland and taking Edinburgh in North Sea. So basically my plan overall just now in the winter of 1901 was already to attack Norway, but even then, this build shouldn't raise too many alarms if I'm successful in my diplomacy with Scandinavia. So basically, that was my plan, and that was 1901. Yeah, so that was a pretty intense 1901. I mean, pretty standard, I guess, but good for me. And that's pretty much it. The game is gonna get real interesting real soon as these two players get replaced. So tune in for 1902 and thank you for watching.